Vigilante Williamson here with a complex set of questions. Usually I say a simple question, but it's a complex set of questions. I just wanted to talk about Diddy. I don't really want to, and even that is a question to ask. Should I cover it? I can't help but to feel like two things on this Diddy story. One, it's a major distraction, and you wonder what are they distracting us from? What major consequential story that is in the background of this is going on that we're not paying attention to? And two, why is Diddy this isolated god? Where's the Dan Snyder trial? Where's the Epstein list? Will we ever get that? I've heard people, and it's probably true to some extent, that the Diddy list is the Epstein list. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But we know this is a behavior in the entertainment industry. We know that there is two things going on with that. There's blackmail, where people are sexually blackmailed into a record contract, into a movie contract, into some sort of success. And that could be as simple as performing weird sexual acts. It could be as bad as performing those acts with the youth and being forced into that. I know I'm coming in hot, pause, with a lot of stuff, but this is just the reality. I don't think this, 10 years ago, there was a lot of conspiracy and this was stuff that was whispered about. Now this is out in the open. This is the reality of it. And on top of that blackmail, there's also the fact that some of these people just genuinely get off on this weird stuff. I talked about on some of the streams, there is a weird scatological connection, right? You had Vince McMahon, which, in that case, I don't necessarily think anything necessarily illegal was done, but definitely disgusting. Defecating on a woman. We all know about the Dubai porta potty, where these rich individuals out in Dubai take instant scam models and defecate on them. We all know about the R. Kelly situation, him peeing on young girls. And then we hear this similar situation with Cassie and Diddy paying male escorts to piss in her mouth. It's like, what the fuck is going on? What is the weird thing with that? Is there some supernatural, this may go over some people's head, is there some occult supernatural element to it? The reason I asked that, I remember Nas had a song called You're the Man. It's on Stillmatic. It's actually one of his better songs. But on the Lost Verses version, there's the second verse, I think it has the first part cut off. In the original version, he's talking about drinking his own bodily fluids, including piss, semen, blood, all mixed up, maybe more than that, being forced to do that to be a rap star. And so this is, again, Diddy is just one guy. We're pinning everything on him, like we did with Weinstein, like we did with Epstein. Even that Epstein situation, there are other islands. That's just the one island that we know. So these are the questions I have about this story. And then I mentioned this earlier. Should I even cover it? Should I be talking about these things, or am I just adding in to the distraction? Am I just adding into the distraction? I don't like being just another YouTube creator where I even with the video subjects I pick, I don't spam subjects. At least I tend not to, right? I unless I have an interest, unless I really have a diehard interest. There is a partial interest as I grew up as a hip hop fan. I make music, including hip hop. Diddy obviously brought a lot of hip hop and R&B artists to the forefront. Obviously Biggie, Mary J. Blige, amongst others. And he's been a part of the entertainment industry for so long. I'm also pretty negative on the entertainment industry for some of the behind the scenes fuckery. It's crazy to hear, I've heard about some of these conspiracy theories before. I believe them. As much as my channel talks about conspiracy, as much as I watch channels like Black Balloons, Jay Marvelous, when he was still on YouTube, Chronicles of Judah, Yash Kara, I still watch my man from the hometown, from Detroit, unplug them. I don't even know if conspiracy. I don't know if conspiracy is even the right term when some of these things have been confirmed. Truth there may be, but I've watched a lot of this content. I made very, very little of it, but I'll talk about it on streams. I don't know what to do. I guess that's why I'm making this video, because I don't know where to go with this story. I don't like doing stuff just for its own effect, but I do think there's something there. There's something to this story, something to the way it's being pushed in front of us, what is being pushed behind us. Infamously, a few years ago, you had Ghislaine Maxwell get convicted for trafficking to no one. Around the same time, you had this Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. One distracted the other. Is there a similar thing going on here? And what is the Ghislaine Maxwell? What is the thing going on behind the scenes? Some of you may already have an answer to what you think it is. Feel free to leave it in the comments. But I don't know where to go with this story. I don't know if I'm going to cover it. I do think it's a disgusting story. There is that perverse fascination with who's on the list, who else went to these Diddy parties. Diddy parties have been something the entertainment industry bragged about for years and years, and everyone talked about how great it is. Then there's the political element, on both sides. There's some risk to who may have been to these parties. Hell, a lot of these parties probably were at Trump Plaza and Trump Tower, because I've often heard this said by conservatives. Oh, rappers used to love Trump, and one of the primary ones that did was Diddy. And these Diddy parties certainly did happen at Trump Tower, because remember, they were advertised. A lot of these were marketed to the public. A lot of these were well-known parties. I'm not saying that a freak off happened at every single one, but it's like, even LeBron James said ain't no party like a Diddy party. This was a thing. And now, we also have Michael Rubin now. We have these white parties. No one's talking about those. I mean, some people are. Some people are noticing that. In 10 years, are we going to have a Michael Rubin trial talking about all the weird parties he had and all the weird things that happened at those parties? And if so, what's going on? There's another thing I want to talk about before I get out of this. The rumor is to why we even know about this, because remember that Cassie video of him beating on her is from 2016. We didn't get into 2022, 2023. The rumor is that Diddy ran afoul of the Ciroc company. I can't think of the parent company right now. Again, I'm coming off the top, pause, like I do with most of these videos. The company that made Ciroc, Diddy was a huge part of that brand. They had some sort of dispute, and allegedly that dispute is what led to all this happening in the first place, which makes you think, if they would have never gotten into a dispute, none of this would be happening. So none of these people would have justice. It doesn't look like they would. And, shout out to Cassie, shout out to her husband. A lot's been made, even in jest, some of the stuff they have to listen to going through this trial. But I mean, you think about it, a lot of it's disgusting. A lot of it's repulsive. Now, I mentioned the Vince McMahon situation, which is tangentially related, right? I'm not sure about all the incidences of Cassie, the legality of it. Obviously, him being physical with her and him being abusive is evil and fucked up. But then there is something to be said about a grown adult and what they consent to. That was standing. What do you think about this whole Diddy party situation? Do you think it's a distraction? What do you think about some of the stuff that's already been reported? What do you think about some of the names that have already been reported? There's already been lists of potential names of people who have went to these parties. And what do you think about the parties that you don't know about? The Diddies that you don't know about, that you know are happening, that you know is still part of the Hollywood entertainment agenda and the Hollywood entertainment complex. What are your thoughts on that? Please let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.